Okay, there you are. How's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent. The town is Carlsbad, California. You're looking at State Street behind me. Kind of a popular area for people to come down and have a good time. Every now and then I find somebody to be in my video, but looks like it's a little bit quiet tonight. Actually, not too quiet, but I just don't see too many people on the street. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about the market, because if you've been following the challenge application on Nudex, you can see it's done very well recently. And of course, there's a few things you have to understand. The first thing is there's not a lot of volume, as our good friend Max Datt said when somebody asked him in his live stream about CHL, and he talked about how the order of books are very thin. What he basically meant is that there's not a lot of trading going on right now, which is fine, because we're very early in this game. And I think Nudex is going to be a huge success. It runs on the EOS blockchain, decentralized exchange. It runs without all these different burdens and hindrances that other exchanges have. Not to mention, you don't have to give your information. This is a very big thing. We've always talked about how we think Nudex is going to be one of the really bright stars on the EOS blockchain, simply because it puts everything together. It allows someone to build an application, build a community, and then be able to trade that community, trade that token worldwide on an exchange, and have literally thousands of people participate. And right now there's not that many people, but believe me, this will grow. I mean, if there's a few thousand people on Nudex right now, think of where this market's going to be when there's 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000. And I think that's going to happen in the very near future. So when you see these tokens appreciating 200, 300%, 400%, the reason they're doing that right now is because we're in the early days of this game. And the framework is there. It's all being put together. The blockchain is working very well, very fast. Communities are being built. Applications are being built. Ideas are being formed. And now they're being traded on a decentralized exchange where people can literally come on there and not have to give up a ton of information in order to trade. This has never been done before, and this is the entire framework of which we're working under, and I believe it's going to be one of the biggest things you'll ever be involved with, ever, if you're involved with it at this point. I think it's going to be that great. This is something I don't think a lot of people are really getting. The big picture of the exchange, the blockchain, and then the ideas and the applications running. And I always put this caveat in, because I always want people to know this, that if you're looking at a project, you really gotta make up your mind whether you think the project is ever going to be built, or if it's just an idea that's so far in the future that it's going to take tons and tons of investment, tons and tons of work and ideas, and maybe years and years and years to be viable. You've got to take that into consideration. Sometimes, things that are worked on, sometimes things that are being built, things that are happening very fastly, progressing very quickly. Those are ideas sometimes that people don't pay as much attention to, as we have happened to us quite a bit. But we are working. I mean, we're up and running in the App Store. We're up and running in Google Play. You can play a challenge app. You can play the challenge app right now if you want to. And I've given a lot of people how to do that. It's very easy to do. And it's downloadable in Apple. We had to work really hard to get into Apple. We had to work really hard to get into Google, but we did all that, and we met the strict requirements, and we did it. So we're up and running. Some of the projects that are years in advance, I'm not saying they're bad ideas. I'm just saying, hey, it's going to be a lot of development, a lot of time, a lot of effort put into those ideas, and sometimes some of those things that fall apart in the meantime. So you got to be careful with that. But there's some real opportunities here right now. I'm telling you. You're early in the game. You got a few thousand people on Nudex. You got a couple hundred projects being done on Nudex. Man, there's some ideas there that are going to be big, and they're going to make a lot of money. And you're buying them right now at the very lowest they're ever going to be. So I think there's going to be some very, very happy people in the near future. I looked at the top 100 NASDAQ stocks recently, and how much profitability there was in those stocks. And if they move a few percent, that's huge. So you take a $100 stock and it moves a percent or two, that's a buck or two. So you got a $100 stock, you're up at $101, $102, $103, over the course of a period of time. I mean, those stocks just don't do much. I mean, over years they do something. maybe over decades they do something. I mean, that's a long time. A lot of people don't want to wait that long. A lot of people want to see some instant returns, some big returns, some huge returns, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, like what we did in some of the ICO market. But you got to be careful. Learn a lesson from the ICOs. Don't make the same mistake. If something is, like I say, way off in the distance, not going to be built, probably not something you want to throw a lot of money at at this time, or much money at all. Not that you should be throwing much money at any of these, because they're all speculative, very, very speculative. I mean, that's my disclaimer. That you're in a very speculative market, but you're in a very, where there's speculation, there's also opportunity. And people that are in the ground floor are usually the people who do the best. I'm just saying, right now, I think we're in the ground floor with new decks and some of these EOS airdrops. So please check them out, take advantage of them. I think right now is a huge, huge opportunity. And I find a lot of people, they don't really even need to know much about the project. They just want to know about the trading. And that, unfortunately, is the way a lot of people think, that they're just gamblers. They want to gamble, and this is kind of a fun, quick place to gamble. And if you're good at it, and you can pick the winners, hey, why not? I mean, everybody likes to play. I mean, that's how Las Vegas got built. So anyway, there's a lot of fun right now to be had on new decks. So please check it out. I'm going to put the link below, and of course, check out the challenge application and play around with it. Download the challenge application. Do a challenge. I mean, we're up and running. One of the few applications running. So anyway, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.